As we prepare the babies to go back to school, we definitely want them to think about the importance of literacy. And when we speak about literacy, we want to make sure that we are encompassing reading and writing, not just reading, but reading comprehension, oral and written expression. So this month, we are focusing on our authors, our literary creatives, and their contributions to their respective communities. How amazing to have a Black man come on here and talk about the importance of literacy, reading,
Yes,
writing, oral expression, and written expression. Shaun Sinclair, ladies and gentlemen.
yes, ma'am.
Shaun, first and foremost, just go all out, introduce
Okay.
yourself, and then let's dive right in.
Okay, let's do it. So, my name is Shaun Sinclair. I'm an author of over 16 best-selling novels. I'm the owner of Pen2Pen Publishing, where we help independent authors get their books published as well. To date, we've published over 100 authors. I'm also a screenwriter, producer, director, and I'm co-host of a show called Let's Talk About Writing.
Okay, so you know what? Since you already told us 16 books.
16.
Okay.
So that's currently published. I have about 22 written already.
And that's what I was going to say. Let's break this thing down.
Yeah.
So 16 published, so 6 unpublished.
Yes.
Which is your favorite?
Skin Deep.
Okay, tell us a little bit about why Skin Deep is your favorite book.
So Skin Deep is my favorite book. First of all, it's about a supermodel, well, a little young girl from the hood who's drop dead gorgeous, and she has the opportunity to be a supermodel. So when she takes the contract, she has the possibility to go to the next level, but she's in love with a treacherous gangster. He's an extortionist. So at the end, she has to choose between her career or love. And the reason it's called Skin Deep, the title is a double entendre because she's a model. And, you know, the term beauty is only skin deep.
Skin deep, yep.
But there's also some twin brothers inside the book, and no one really knows that they're twin brothers. So Skin Deep.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I like it. Okay, I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna take a guess first.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume that for you, the plot comes before the characters.
It does. It does.
Okay, but tell us why. Tell us why.
Okay, so the reason why Skin Deep was my favorite book, it's a series, there's 3 of them. But that's the first book that I ever wrote that was fully fictional. Like all the books I had prior to that, interspersed parts of my life for real. And so with Skin Deep, that was probably about the 5th or 6th book I actually wrote. And by this time as a writer, like Skin Deep was the book I knew that I could really do this writing thing. So as I was writing it, it was like I had found my voice as a writer, and I was comfortable and content with that. And it just made everything right. So it's the first book I ever had to really be a writer, and not just relive experiences. So with this one, I had to turn on my creative juices a lot more. Now I did use like places I've lived, like Europe and Jersey and places like that, but it's an international thriller. So it starts off in Ethiopia, and then it goes to London or the UK, and then it comes to the States. So it's really a broad epic tale. And that's my favorite because it's probably the most dense story I've ever written. Incidentally, it's my least selling book, but I'm working on it.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So are there any books or authors that inspired you to become a writer?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So of course, I've always read. Even when I was like middle school, I used to read. It's funny because I just posted something on Facebook, and the guy who went to school with me said it was something about one of my literary accolades. And in the comments, one of the guys said, "Man, I remember you used to always read books," and we were back in middle school.
Wow! Yeah.
But so with that one, that question, Sister Soldier. Well, let me go back. Dean Koontz, Danielle Steele, Sidney Sheldon. Those are like 3 of my favorite authors of all time. Okay. Particularly Sidney Sheldon. So then later on in life, well, maybe I actually start writing. There's a brother by the name of Marcus Major. He had a book called A Woman Most Worthy or something like that. His book was really the one that made me start putting pen to pad. Of course, I was familiar with Terry McMillan. She was kind of inspiring to help me write because I learned through her that you didn't have to be so specific and so proper. I learned from her that you didn't have to be so proper. And so then Marcus Major came through later. And then you had Sister Soldier, of course, and then Terry Woods. But about this time, I was already into it by then.
You had already got your sauces. Guys, Shaun Sinclair is amazing. Like, wow. And I love the fact that there were people watching you. And that's why I always say, kids and parents, I hope you go back and replay this portion for your children. Shaun said that even now, he posted something on his social media and his peers remember that he was reading in school. So don't be a class clown, because people are going to remember that. But what you want people to remember is the fact that you were sitting there reading your book or writing your paper while everybody else was acting a fool. Yes, Shaun, let's go. All right. Have you ever tried to write a novel for a genre that you rarely or never read?
Nah, I stick to my script. Well, actually, I have a diverse taste though, because so I write about it. So my books, actually, as an author, I write in the thriller genre, I write in street fiction, and I write erotic. And so I write all three.
Okay.
So I'm kind of versatile with my pen. I started writing like a little horror story before, like a little short. I may publish it one day, I may not, but yeah, that was one. But now I kind of stick to what I know. Like the only genre I probably couldn't write in, I didn't say couldn't, but have no interest, it's like certain types of fantasy / alt reality with dragons and things of that nature. But
all right, so what would you say to you are the most important elements to writing?
Discipline, number one. Discipline, creativity, vision. You have to have vision to see everything through. You have to be creative. But the reason why I say discipline is because you have to be disciplined to write your book.
Makes sense.
Right. Life passes you by. You'll compete with social media. If you have a family, family time, television, your jobs. So it takes discipline to sit there and write every day or whenever you write. You have to have discipline.
Okay. So what would you say is the trickiest thing that you have to kind of when you're writing about the opposite gender?
It's funny. I don't, just being true to it. So the thing about me, my characters, once I start creating the characters, they take a life of their own. So even my female characters, I draw from experience. My grandmother had 12 kids, 8 girls. None of them were virgins. So we had a lot of cousins and things of that nature going up.
Victor, you know that.
But so I had a lot of experience just watching my sisters and my cousins and my aunts grow up. Yeah, I just had a lot of experience growing up watching them.
You know what? Since you went there, we're gonna go ahead and ask the closing question now. So share something about yourself that your readers don't know yet.
That they don't know. Let me see. I'm pretty much an open book.
Okay.
Something my readers don't know. I don't know. I'm an open book. I pride myself on being an open book. I pride myself on being privately open.
Understood. In moderation. I got you. Right. I got you. Trust me.
I think they know everything though.
Trust me, I get it. Because I tell people all the time, be transparent, but also be careful because people always looking for that one thing.
Yep, transparent, be private.
I got you. All right, Shaun. So other than working on the beautiful skin that you so elegantly display without light.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How many hours a day do you write?
It depends.
Okay.
So the first time I've ever had writer's block was last year sometime. I've been writing since 2003. I've never had writer's block until last year.
Writer's block.
Writer's block is when your story just won't come.
Okay.
You try your best to write, but your story just won't come.
Okay.
Where you just sit in front of the computer or longhand and it just won't come.
Okay.
But I write typically late at night. I don't put I guess I'm fortunate to where like I don't have to punch a clock per se. So I kind of create my own schedule. So when I start writing at 10 o'clock, if it still hit me up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm still writing. I write till the inspiration leaves for that moment.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So it's safe to say you really don't have a specific time of day that you do most of your writing. It kind of, if it comes at 10 o'clock at night, you'll write to 5 or 6 o'clock the next morning if.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, so during the day, I still run Pen2Pen Publishing. So
okay.
Fortunately, we have a lot of clients. So during the day, I'll do their work. For example, if if my editing team is done and they send the books to me for the final edits, I may do that during the day.
Okay.
It's funny, my mind works. For me, I write best at night or early in the morning for my creativity, but I can still work. Like editing is a different part of your brain that you use as opposed to writing.
Okay, so let's shift gears. Now, guys, yes, we're talking about literacy, but he just spoke about something very important: editing, proofreading, those types of things. Talk to us about what that process looked like, because that's important, especially for our middle and high schoolers who are getting more and more into writing papers. So talk to us a little bit about editing and proofreading.
So editing is very, very important. It's a very important aspect of the book, right? Edits, pretty much, you have 3 different types of edits. You have a line edit, a copy edit, and then you go through developmental editing. So one editing is just about punctuation. Another edit is about going through and making sure your paragraph structure, well, that's format. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. One part is like punctuation. One part is to make sure everything, like going by line, to make sure, let's say in chapter 1, you had a character named Tommy. And the same character, you spelled his name different in chapter 5. That's what you call a line by line edit. It would catch something like that. Copy edit is, as the name suggests, your copy, your periods, your punctuation, things of that nature. Developmental editing, that's the divine part. That's when you have to go through a book and you let the reader know, look, this right here can be fleshed out a little bit more. Bring this up. Developmental editing, if you have a good editor, he or she will make you a better writer because they see things that you can't see.
Wow.
Because as we're writing, we're in our zone, we're in our flow. We're not thinking about the technical aspects of it, right? Or bringing the character out more. Descriptive words like sight, sound, smells, emotions, sense. These things are all things that make a character bring out. So during your first draft, you're not thinking about that. You're just writing. So a developmental editor might say, hey, look, on this part where you describe the room, give me more detail. And then they might say, that's what I would do. I say, look, give me the sight, give me what it smells like, give me the sounds that you hear, give me the colors of the walls. And these are the things that bring each character out. And that's developmental editing. That's a good editor does that.
Oh my goodness, guys. Did you just get the feeling that I got? Yes. all of it. All right, Shaun. So how do books get published then?
Oh, great question. So for us, what we do, I mean, the answer to that question is a couple different ways, but I'm gonna speak to how we do it because we put authors in position to be their own boss. And so once they come to us with our 90-day publishing package, they turn the manuscript over to us. We do all the heavy lifting. So at the end, you publish it on Amazon. Right now is a really big marketplace, of course. So once you publish that book on Amazon, correction, once you get your barcode and you release that book, it's published at that moment. That's published. But Amazon is publishing arm. They have physical books as well as ebooks. So once you publish on Amazon, that's the way. Through us, that's the way. Your book is notified on Ingram, is listed on Ingram for order from Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, all the major wholesalers.
Okay.
But pretty much once that book is out, it's out.
Wow.
Yes. We have a printing division as well.
So, all right. So what ultimately inspired you to develop the publishing company?
So initially, I developed a publishing company to put my books out. I released Forbidden, which was my first book. I sold 30,000 copies independently. So then I dropped Skin Deep 1, dropped Skin Deep 2 under my publishing company. And then I got signed to a major, which is Kensington Publishing.
Okay.
And so with them, you have a temporary non-compete clause, meaning you can't drop a book between a few months before. Well, every contract is different, but typically you can't drop a book during the same time.
Okay.
So I had a lot of knowledge from publishing my own books. And when I would travel the country, I would see different authors, like independent authors, and they would have good stories, but like we just spoke about, the editing might not be good, or the format might be good. Like you open up the book and you see the page is not justified. Those are common things that can easily be fixed.
Wow.
Yeah. And so rather than be part of the problem, I chose to be part of the solution. And so I restructured my company as an author services company to help other authors like that.
The services I like.
Because we do that things easy.
Yeah.
And then over time, we just develop each arm until now it's a full scale publishing company.
Okay. So question of the hour. What do you think is the best way to improve writing skills?
Time and just writing. That's it. The only way you'll get better at something is continue to do it. Oh, and study the craft. Okay. A lot of times we tend to think that we know it all once we get a few books published, but you want to study your craft. Always study. There are so many different types of books. Writer's Digest is phenomenal when it comes to resources. Okay. Phenomenal. But study and then just do more of it. Practice makes perfect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. All right. So what does the term writer's success mean to you? And what does it look like?
Good question. Writer's success, if you're able to provide your lifestyle of your writing, then you're a success. Well, that's how I view it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate success. I mean, there's levels to that. As a writer, just publishing your book, you're successful. If you sell this book, you're successful. Absolutely. But for me, my definition is you can feed yourself and your family off your writing, you're a writer's success ultimately.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow, Shaun, you have really just given a wealth of information, and it's been fun. It's been fun. So tell everybody where they can find you on social media, but also how they can connect with Pen2Pen Publishing. Absolutely.
So you can find me on all social media platforms at I am Shaun Sinclair. That's IAM SHAUN SINCLAIR, all one word, of course. I am Shaun Sinclair. On Facebook, though, you can find me just Shaun Sinclair on Facebook. You'll see it. Author page comes up. And Pen2Pen Publishing, you can go to pen2penpublishing.com. That's PEN, the number 2, PEN again, publishing.com. Or you can go to ShaunSinclair.com. You'll see a link to it as well.
Shaun Sinclair, Pen2Pen Publishing. Guys, he has given you a wealth of information on proofreading and editing, which is something that we really don't spend a lot of time talking about because we're so concerned with the writing. So remember, there is a writing process, and he has given you some very, very important tools for life.
That's a fact.
Well, Shaun, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you later.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.